Good morning, students. Our today's topic is lymph, that is tissue fluid. As we have already studied in class 10th, that from the heart, aorta takes the oxygenated blood towards the body. The aorta further divides into arteries, arterioles, and near the tissue region they end in capillaries. So, aorta has the large diameter, and the diameter in the capillaries is very small, very less. As the diameter go on decreasing, the pressure inside that go on increasing. So, in the capillaries, tremendous pressure is present, and the walls of the capillaries are very thin walled. They are made up of one cell thick only. So because of this pressure, some liquid comes out from the wall of the capillaries in the tissue region. This is known as lymph or tissue fluid. Now from your book, as the blood passes through the capillaries in tissues, some water along with many small water-soluble substances move out into the space between the cells of the tissues, leaving the larger proteins and most of the formed elements in the blood vessels. So near the tissue region from the capillaries, some liquid which consist of mainly water and small water soluble substances, they come out from the capillaries in the tissue region, and this is known as lymph. But larger proteins and blood cells which are larger in size, they can't come out from the wall of the capillaries. This fluid released out is called the interstitial fluid or tissue fluid or lymph. It has the same mineral distribution as that in plasma. So same concentration of minerals as in the plasma. Exchange of nutrients, gases, etc. between the blood and the cells always occur through this fluid. An elaborate network of vessels called the lymphatic system collects this fluid and drains it back to the major veins. In our body, near the tissue region, again lymphatic system is there, which take the fluid from the tissue region, and through lymph vessels it goes towards the heart, that is the right chamber of the heart. Before entering the right chamber, it fuses with the vena cava. So it fuses with one of the large vena cava, which comes from the inferior vena cava and opens into the right atrium. From the tissue region, the lymph or the fluid is taken back by the lymphatic vessels, and the lymphatic vessels pour this liquid back into the right atrium. So in this way, it maintains the lymphatic system, maintains the volume of the blood. The liquid which has come out from the vessels earlier near the tissue region, again this fluid is taken by the lymphatic vessels towards the right atrium of the heart. This fluid present in the lymphatic system is called lymph. Lymph is a colorless fluid containing specialized lymphocytes, WBCs, which are responsible for the immune responses of the body. In the lymphatic system, WBCs are present which help in the immune response of our body. Lymph is also an important carrier of nutrients, hormones, etc. Fats are absorbed through lymph in the lacteals present in the intestinal villi. Large intestine, villi are present. In the villi, lacteals are present. These lacteals are the vessels which help in the absorption of fat. Next topic is circulatory pathways. The circulatory pattern are of two types, open and closed. Open circulatory system means in which the blood does not flow in the blood vessels. So blood is present in the cavities only, in the open space, that is open circulatory system. And in case of closed circulatory system, the blood flows through the blood vessels. This is the main difference. So, open circulatory system is present in arthropods and mollusks, in which blood pumps by the heart passes through large vessels into open spaces or body cavities. So, in this, the blood flows is present in the open cavities called sinuses. Annelids and chordates have a closed circulatory system in which the blood pumped by the heart is always circulated through the closed network of blood vessels. This pattern is considered to be more advantageous as the flow of fluid can be more precisely regulated. In the closed circulatory system, the blood flows in a regulated manner. All vertebrates possess a muscular chambered heart. Fishes have a two-chambered heart with one atrium and one ventricle. Amphibians and reptiles, except crocodile. Crocodile has four-chambered heart, but otherwise amphibians and reptiles have three-chambered heart with two atria and one ventricle. Whereas crocodiles, birds and mammals possess a four-chambered heart with two atria and two ventricles. In fish, the heart pumps out deoxygenated blood, which is oxygenated by the gills and supplied to the body parts, from where deoxygenated blood is returned to the heart. So, in case of fish, from the body, the deoxygenated blood comes to the heart, and then heart pumps the blood, then it goes towards the gills where it gets oxygen, and then it goes to different parts of the body, and again from the body parts deoxygenated blood comes to the heart. In case of amphibians and reptiles, the left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the gills, lungs or skin, and the right atrium gets the deoxygenated blood from other parts of the body. However, they get mixed up in a single ventricle which pumps out mixed blood. This is known as incomplete double circulation. So, in case of amphibians, two auricle, one ventricle, the right auricle receives deoxygenated blood, left auricle receives oxygenated blood, but both blood mixes in the ventricle. So, here the mixing of blood occurs, and this is known as incomplete double circulation. In birds and mammals, oxygenated and deoxygenated blood received by the left and right atria respectively passes on to the ventricles of the same side. The ventricles pump it out without any mixing. That is, two separate circulatory pathways are present in these organisms. Hence, these animals have double circulation, as in case of humans. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood, then it goes into the right ventricle, deoxygenated blood, then deoxygenated blood through pulmonary artery, it goes to the lungs. After getting oxygen, it comes through the pulmonary vein to the left atrium. After from left atrium, the oxygenated blood goes to the left ventricle. In this way, double circulation is present. One side deoxygenated blood, and towards the left side oxygenated blood is present in humans. Next is human circulatory system, also called the blood vascular system, consists of muscular chambered heart, a network of closed branching blood vessels and blood. Heart is mesodermally derived organ, and it is situated in the thoracic cavity, in the thorax region, between the two lungs, and is slightly tilted to the left, turned towards the left side. It has the size of a clenched fist. Clenched fist means closed fist, band muthi. It is protected by a double-walled membranous bag. Outside the heart, double membrane structure is present known as pericardium. Enclosing the pericardial fluid, inside the pericardium, pericardial fluid is present, which protects the heart from the jerks, injury, etc. Our heart has four chambers, two relatively small upper chambers called atria and the two larger chambers called ventricles. A thin muscular wall called the interatrial septum separates the right and the left atria, whereas a thick-walled interventricular septum separates the left and right ventricles. Between the two auricles, interatrial septum is present, interauricular septum is present, and between the two ventricles, interventricular septum is present. The atrium and the ventricles of the same site are also separated by a thick fibrous tissue called atrioventricular septum. Between the auricle and ventricle, that partition is known as atrioventricle septum. However, each of these septa are provided with an opening through which the two chambers of the same site are connected. In the atrioventricle septum, valves are present that we will discuss afterwards. The opening between the right atrium and the right ventricle is guarded by a valve formed of three muscular flaps or cusps, the tricuspid valve. Between the right auricle and right ventricle, tricuspid valve is present. Cuspid means flaps. Three type of flaps are present, whereas in bicuspid or mitral valve guards the opening between the left atrium and the left ventricle. लेफ्ट एट्रियम एंड लेफ्ट वेंट्रिकल के बीच में मिट्रियल वॉल्व प्रेजेंट होता है. The opening of the right and the left ventricles into the pulmonary artery and the aorta respectively are provided with semilunar valves. From the right ventricle, pulmonary artery takes the deoxygenated blood, and from the left ventricle, aorta takes the oxygenated blood. So these are guarded by semilunar valves. The valves in the heart allows the flow of blood only in one direction, that is from the atria to the ventricles and from the ventricles to the pulmonary artery or aorta. So function of valves, they allow the flow of blood in one direction only. These valves prevents any backward flow. The entire heart is made of cardiac muscles. The walls of ventricles are much thicker than that of the atria. A specialized cardiac musculature called the nodal tissue is also distributed in the heart. So now I will explain you about the nodal tissue. This is the internal structure of heart. In the right atrium on the right side, sinoatrial node is present, that is SAN node is present. In the left side of the right atrium, atrioventricular node is present, that is AVN node is present. Then from AVN the fibers originate and moves through the atrioventricular septum, passes the atrioventricular septum and move as bundle of His or atrioventricular bundle, AV bundle. Then this AV bundle further moves and divides into right and left branch, bundle branch. So each branch moves towards the wall of the ventricle and there it divides further into Purkinje fibers. These are the Purkinje fibers. So the impulse moves from SAN, sinoatrial node, then goes to the atrial ventricular node, and then move to the atrial ventricular bundle, and then to the right and left bundle branch, and that impulse goes towards the Purkinje fibers. In this way, the impulse originates from the auricle and moves towards the ventricle. Now, from your book, a patch of this tissue is present in the right upper corner of the right atrium called sinoatrial node. Another mass of this tissue is seen in the lower left corner of the right atrium close to the atrial ventricular septum called the atrioventricular node, AVN. A bundle of nodal fibers, that is bundle of His, atrioventricular bundle, continues from AVN, which passes through the atrioventricular septa to emerge on the top of the interventricular septum and immediately divides into right and left bundle. So after coming from this septum, this branch divides into right and left bundle. These branches give rise to minute fibers throughout the ventricular musculature of the respective site and are called Purkinje fibers. These are the Purkinje fiber. The nodal musculature has the ability to generate action potential without any external stimuli. That is, it is auto-excitable. Without any external stimuli, this SAN can generate the impulse. It is also known as the pacemaker of the heart. However, the number of action potentials that could be generated in a minute vary in different parts of the nodal system. The SAN can generate the maximum number of action potential, that is 70 to 75 per minute, and is responsible for initiating and maintaining the rhythmic contractile activity of the heart. Therefore, it is called the pacemaker. Our heart normally beats 70 to 75 times in a minute, that is, average is 72 beats per minute. I hope this is clear. Thank you.